from us. There we go. And now I'm live.
Mic's on. Nice.
Thanks,
Good.
Tony. Okay. We can start over again if you want. It's May the 4th. It's a live show for Rule of the Galaxy, chapter 135. We're at Comic Book University in Indianapolis. That was getting too annoying. I was hearing myself twice. So Joey was telling us how he was celebrating May the 4th.
Yeah.
Alfie, how about you? Have you done anything special for May the 4th?
Oh, special for May the 4th. Let me think. I think we've watched the Kenobi trailer maybe a dozen times.
Okay.
Only a dozen, huh?
Yeah, at different speeds, different angles, different TVs. We watched The Force Awakens. We've been playing with Star Wars toys all day. We opened up some stuff. So, yeah, we've had a good Star Wars day.
Good.
What about you?
I worked all day. And then I planned to come here and meet you guys. And I watched the Kenobi trailer twice. And I listened to about the first half an hour of the gallery. And then I came right over here. I couldn't watch it because I was busy working.
You know what else I did?
What?
I made a Star Wars TikTok. I just thought about that.
Okay.
I made a Star Wars TikTok. They have an effect out there now where it's like you're riding in the front seat of a car and it literally puts you in a car. It's got the highway in the back and everything. So I made one that was like the after I dropped my friends off playing the music that I really want to play, and I had Duel of the Fates going.
Okay.
Because we've all been there when like you don't want to have Star Wars music pop up on your iPod when you're playing with your when your friends are in the back seat because they'll give you a hard time or whatnot, and so then they pop out, then you're just letting it rip. And
Okay,
that's what I did. So
I'm not sure if we're talking about the same letting it rip from your car when you're by yourself. I can think of another thing about letting it rip. So hey, we have Vinny and Shanna Smith who just showed up here. Nice to see you guys out in the crowd. Hey, welcome. So you mentioned TikTok, so I'll just jump into some of our usual lingo here. As always, you can follow us at Rule of the Galaxy SW on Twitter. Follow us at Rule of the Galaxy at Facebook and YouTube. Rule of the Galaxy SW on Instagram. TikTok is now Rule of the Galaxy Podcast, I believe. D-Doc set that up, so I'm going with that. And then we've got always email us at ruleofthegalaxysw@gmail.com. One last plug, go to Etsy.com. Type in Rule of the Galaxy, all one word, all caps. It'll take you to our shop, and you can buy some Rule of the Galaxy gear right there. And the links are coming up right there on the screen for you. So, Joey, you brought this up. Alfie, you and I grew up. May 25th was the day Star Wars came out, and most of us celebrated May the 25th as kind of like it's the Star Wars day. And with marketing and promotions, May the 4th has really kind of taken that over. What are your thoughts on that?
To me, it's great just to have another day to celebrate Star Wars. You want to give me special deals and prices on stuff, I don't care how many Star Wars days there are.
Yeah, it is, even though I was a little thrown when you said the Eastern Orthodox Catholics did January Christmas. If I had Christmas in January, that'd be pretty sick. So, you double dip and you get at the beginning of the month and the end of the month. I'm cool with it.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I was doing a little research, believe it or not, before we got in here for the show.
You doing research? Wow.
You would never think that would happen.
Thought.
Shocking. Yeah. I know.
How many of these have you just freaking gone through in your life, by the way? I mean,
so Joey's making fun of my addiction to notepads. And yes, I have an entire bag of notepads. Yes.
Chicken scratch since as long as I can remember.
Come on, man. Yeah. Just ripping on your dad. So the history of the May the 4th be with you. Actually have some of that right here. 1978, during July 4th, Professor Leo Braudy, I believe, who went on to work on Empire of Dreams, the documentary about George Lucas. 1978, during the 4th of July, he was telling people, May the 4th be with you for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So that was when it came out, 1978. 1979, Margaret Thatcher was elected as the Prime Minister in England on May 4th.
I thought she was an actress.
Margaret Thatcher? I think you're thinking of like Margot Robbie.
No, I would know Margot Robbie.
Anyway,
I would know.
So Margaret Thatcher, on the newspaper headlines after she was elected, it said, May the 4th be with you, Maggie, on the headlines on May the 4th. And then in 1982, during the filming of, at that time, Revenge of the Jedi, They were filming the Ewok section of the movie in the forest near George Lucas's house.
Yeah.
A Lucasfilm employee said, we should make this a holiday and send each other like cards in the office on May the 4th for May the 4th be with you. So those were all kind of historical things. During Revenge of the Sith, again, on July the 4th, they did a promotional item that if you bought 3 tickets for Revenge of the Sith over the July 4th weekend, you get the 4th free. So it was May the 4th be with you. And then, of course, in 2011, 2012, when the whole Disney thing took over, it just went wild. And it's been going like that ever since. So
that does
history.
That does feel right. Like I remember the crossover in the Disney era when that was the cell was there. And you got a little audience members with the iPad going, but it does. Yeah, the last decade, it's really been driven home commercially. But no, I'm cool with that. I don't care.
Yeah.
Star Wars is Star Wars.
I really think the whole Disney parks is where I first heard of May the 4th and it being a big thing.
Okay.
You said George Lucas. They did the Ewok scenes in his backyard.
Yeah.
You think he's like a furry or something? You think he's got a real thing going where he wanted everybody to be in the backyard in the Ewok outfits? Huh?
Gosh, thanks for bringing that up, Joey. I have no idea, but
It's like his version of Neverland, you know, with the Ewoks.
Bunch of little people in costumes at George Lucas's house.
Faster, more intense.
Faster, more intense.
Faster, more intense.
Hey, while we're here, do a quick promo for Comic Book University and just anybody who wants comics. Yes, today is May the 4th, but on Saturday, May the 7th, it is free comic book day, not only at Comic Book University, but all over the country. Day kicks off at 10 a.m., runs through 8 p.m., especially right here at the U, as they call it. They're celebrating their 21st year of free comic book day. Come in, they'll take care of you. They've got a whole list at freecomicbookday.com to where you can see which comics you can come in and pick up. And let's see, they're having a sale. Take advantage of 20% off almost everything in the store, excluding Magic, the Gathering, and Pokemon products, which never would have done anything for me anyway. And this year, appearing at Comic Book University, we will have Jackie Crofts, Dan Scaddy, and Mark Brer. If you know who those people are, it's important to you, and damn it, you need to be there. Free Comic Book Day, May 7th at Comic Book University, but also comic book stores all over the country. Tony, you're running the chat over there. Anything coming through on the chat that we need to answer now that the sound's working? A lot of curse words. Great.
Perfect.
Can you read that, Joey?
Yes. This is from Star Wars Comic Friend. Yes. Grab the Ahsoka Maul figure and a Scorch figure. Then, of course, the autos from the weekend. So I'm guessing that's how they celebrated May the 4th. Brent got some killer autographs. This is the convention. So you guys are at the convention. You guys are the big shots on the stage.
Well, yeah, but that was next in line. We were going to do a little ICC Con recap. So I wish you could have been there. It was a lot of fun.
Same. It looked great.
We had a booth at the ICCC or ICC Con in Nashville, Tennessee. It was Alfie, Nick Shesky, Brent Dykman, and myself. So lots of fun discussions on the road trip. Oh, look, there we are with Anna Graves, the Duchess Satine herself from the Clone Wars. She was fabulous. We gave her a T-shirt, Rule the Galaxy T-shirt. And Tony's going to show you a wide array of pictures.
Wait, is that really Darth Maul?
It was really Darth Maul. So it was great. We had our own booth. We had shirts. We had hats, banners. And then the gentleman who ran the podcast stage. Oh, I met Timothy Zahn.
Well, we can't just glaze over that.
I will get there. Okay. We actually got to do 4 live shows on the podcast stage, 2 by our whole team, and then 1 with Brent Dykman and the ICCC TV staff, and then 1 with Nick Shesky with the ICCC TV staff. Say that 10 times in a row.
No, thanks.
And it was great. The cosplayers there were fabulous. So many toys to buy.
That Mando was wow, Alpha. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "That is Din Djarin. That's him."
It was pretty epic.
Yeah.
I mean, so for me to get to meet Timothy Zahn, the story, you guys all know the story. I had his autograph. He wrote me a letter after I wrote him a letter. Hey, Mass is in the house. Timothy Zahn, after Heir to the Empire came out in 1991, I wrote him a letter and said, this is awesome. It brought back Star Wars to me. He wrote me a letter back. Very nice, handwritten letter, signed, all that. When we moved, my dad threw it away. I was heartbroken. I've sent him messages on Facebook, said, hey, here's what happened.
Makes too much sense.
He of course said, hey, if we meet up sometime, remind me of that story. I walked up to the booth. He's sitting there. He's signing books. And I said, Mr. Zahn, here's a book of yours. Would you sign it? And I told him the story again. He was great. Took pictures with me. He was great. Look at that chiss right there, by the way. One of Thrawn's people from the Heir to the Empire. So it was great. And then, my favorite, Tony's got it up on screen right now. The Clone Wars reunion.
Wow.
Matt Lanner, James Arnold Taylor, Ashley Eckstein, Anna Graves. So you have Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano, and Duchess Satine, all on one stage. We were about 20 feet away from them.
So cool.
And they were doing great interviews. I know Nick got great videos of Ian McDermott doing an interview.
Yeah, I got a good interview of Ian McDermott.
Yep.
I saw you guys got on your TikTok. You had him do it.
He even did the do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
That
Did you guys get chills? Did you chills?
Yeah.
If he was there?
And it was pretty perfect because he came out on stage and it was unintended, but someone in the crowd somewhere leaned against the light switch.
No way.
So the lights went out, right?
Wow.
And then he did the Emperor's voice. It couldn't have been any more perfect.
RFR guys. Love that.
Met the guys from RFR, Jimmy and Jason. They were very nice. Talked about our podcast, told us some things to get better, to do, all that kind of stuff.
Whoa, Plo Koon.
Oh, yeah. Joey,
I
come
had
on.
to stop every time I saw those two right there.
Oh my gosh, Tony.
See? Yeah.
Bringing up the wrong color for Plo Koon.
I mean, the head, the face, the head, everything is exact on, but now it's the lightsaber. That's all I look at. That's it. Ruined it for me.
You ruined it, Tony. You ruined it.
That's awesome. And so you guys did. You let off for Rebel Force Radio, right? Like
we were the show before them.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
so that was really great.
You opened for that's like opening for Jerry Seinfeld of the Star Wars podcast world.
There you go. That's what we were doing. We were the opening act, but we met some great people, made a lot of contacts. There were a lot of other podcasters there. We're like, hey, let's meet up, do some shows together, things like that. It was a lot of fun.
All three of us went to
that Falcon is still haunting me.
The $150 Falcon. Yeah.
That one is really bothering me.
I've
looked it up quite a few times, just try to buy it again, and it's way out of my price range.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about because we were all at the Great Ohio Toy Show.
Yeah.
Us three, Tommy Line. How did it, and the toy wise, figure wise, how did that compare between the two?
Not a lot of variety as far as high end or low end. There was a lot of variety, but it was very high end.
It was high end.
Now,
yeah,
there were there was a lot of stuff, and it really frustrates me to see the amount of things that people had of stuff that should be out now that you can't find anywhere. I bought that book, the Tycon Boba Fett, in the Tusken Raider garb. Dude had 20 of them.
I've
never seen it. I've never seen it available online. I've seen it online, but never to where you could actually buy it.
Correct.
So how do you get 20 of them?
It's a good
guy
question.
had 50 of the brand new vintage collection Anakin Skywalkers. How?
Why don't you ask him?
He's got the in. They fell off the back of a
They
truck.
don't like to talk.
They don't want to give away their secrets.
You're not going to want to fill out that registration card. You just go ahead and throw that away.
Oh man.
So,
Great Ohio Toy Show is fun.
Yeah.
And,
So
I bought a lot of $10 figures for my daughter to open. And one thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The guy threw me some shade like he didn't have, time enough to deal with me because I was buying the junk that he has.
Oh, so he was like, "Oh, you're opening them? Why would
Yeah.
How dare you play
Could
with
you
these
just pay
toys?"
and let me get back to selling my, Kenner originals that are mint in the
Man, there's always gotta be people that take the fun out of stuff.
Well, one thing about taking the fun out of it, and Alfie's seen this weekend, we've usually been keep them in the box kind of people.
no more.
And I think we've ripped off the seal and we're going live. We're going fresh out of the box. And here's my reason why. Hasbro is going away from plastic on their boxes. They're going to be cardboard boxes with painting or whatever artwork of the character on the outside.
So you're not gonna be able to see the character through?
I don't on the 6-inch as
cannot
well,
see
right?
The character. You see a picture of the character.
Who's running this company? Are they just wanting to run it into the ground?
What's
going
one on Seinfeld? Kruger? I think it's Kruger who's running Hasbro. Yeah.
My gosh. Sometimes it does feel like they're just, like, what's the worst possible thing we could do? Let's do that. You know?
It does feel that way. But I can tell you, I've opened up. I was going to bring some characters, but I came right from work. I opened up my Obi-Wan Kenobi Clone Wars 6-inch with the armor on.
Pretty cool. No looking back now?
No looking back.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
That Revan changed me. I opened that bad boy up, and there's no reason to have that in a box. Absolutely no reason.
Instead of can't put the cat's out of the bag, now it's the figures out of the box.
Yeah.
I like
That's
this.
That's the phrase. Okay.
I like it.
Well, maybe I'll try that, Ryan, when we get home. You can set them up, in the bedroom, like next to the bed.
No, that's Massingale. Mass, yours are out in your bedroom, right?
Not anymore.
Come around real quick and say hi, Mass. Come in, yell into one of the mics. There's people wanting to hear from Mass, and we got D-Doc. We got to get him on here in a second.
Give some advice.
Hey, man, good to see you.
Hey, Mass, what's up?
How's everybody?
Mass is coming in to be a part of the Rule of the Galaxy again. We miss you. The crowd has missed you. They loved your cursing and your comments.
Before
Tom is probably on there right now. Brent Dykeman is on there. I can see that.
Your steadfast opinions of no, I just don't like that. I gave it another shot, but no, I don't like that.
That's fair.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about? What's before you get out of here, Star Wars wise, what's you most fired up right now?
Kenobi, looking forward to that. Then third season of Mando, really looking forward to that. Other than that, I haven't really been keeping up as to what's coming out, so I'm not.
Those are really the only things that matter. Yeah.
Hey,
hit the nail on the head.
I just want to let you know, Lori does not comment on these shows very often, and I saw a comment, "Hi, Mass," from Lori Molinaro. So you're somebody.
Brent Dykeman, I want Mass.
She didn't even say hi that for her son. So
Miss that bald head.
There you go.
Is phrasing still a thing? Are we still doing phrasing?
I guess.
That's
So,
pretty good.
Mass, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Taking the time out of your
Good to
day
see
to
you.
come be a part of this. You
Appreciate
got
it.
it. We'll have to go see another movie soon.
Absolutely.
You got it.
See you guys later.
See you, Mass. We'll get Vinny up here in a minute. We'll steal him away from Shanna and have him come up and talk a little bit. But so looking here real quick, I was thinking about this. What does this we're celebrating Star Wars today as a group, everybody around the world. It's May the 4th be with you. It's Star Wars Day, all that. We talked about it a little bit in the past. We've done some things, had some discussions, but Michael Havens, who runs the ICC Con, he definitely hit something the other day when he was on the show. And he said, how many other things when you're 35 or 40 years old, things like that, can you meet new friends? Can you bond over something for people who are across all kinds of political aisles, religious aisles, all that kind of stuff? Star Wars does that, right? Star Wars is that buffer in between that keeps people binded together. And so I think that's very important for us to think about that on a day like today. I, of course, wrote down my whole history of Star Wars right here. We don't have time for that. Maybe some highlights later. But what about you guys? You guys have the same opinion on this? It brings people together?
Yeah, it's like at the con last week in the podcast next to us, the Mike and Mike guy.
Yeah.
First time meeting, man. He walked in with that C-3PO and Emperor pop signed by both of the actors. I had to run right over. We talked about it. We geeked out. I don't know this guy, but all of a sudden we just connected over Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I think it's hilarious too. Like, not only we have all Molinaro fellows up here, which is great, but you think about like the connections, like Jack Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
IndyCar driver.
Are we allowed to all be in one spot at one time?
There might be some FBI people waiting for us when it's done, but that's
There's
okay.
only 2 Joes allowed at once, so Christmas gets very difficult, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think we're good. But like guys like Jack Harvey, George Kittle, friends of people like that who are well-known athletes who are up in this, who you'd be able to connect over Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
I was texting with Jack Harvey today. He said, "Hey, happy May 4th, man." And I said, "Same to you." He said, "Wish I could have been on with your dad's show tonight, but I'm traveling all day and whatnot." So it's like, it's just so funny that, if you are into Star Wars, diehard Star Wars, it can connect you from everywhere. And there's just that automatic bonding ground that you have,
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to hear D-Doc, but D-Doc's here. He's live from Philadelphia. We're talking about friends in Star Wars. Here's a guy that last year during the race made us the great sign that sits behind me in our studio, and I've got it there on my wall. This guy was a friend of the show, and he came on like gangbusters and is now a big part of the show. And he runs our TikTok. He's very much involved with our social media. He's all the way out in Philadelphia. We were going to meet him last weekend at the ICC Con. Baby number 3 coming, kind of held that up. But D-Doc, how you doing? Hopefully I can hear you.
Baby 3 is not here yet. Can you hear me, Joe?
I can hear you, yes.
You guys got me. All right,
I even got you. I don't even have headphones on.
Right
This
there.
is great.
All right. Yeah,
D-Doc,
Baby
what's
3 is
up?
not here yet. And I had a feeling that might have happened, but I just stopped at a toy store. They have all vintage Star Wars stuff on my way home. And I made up for the trip. And funny thing is, I'd sent you guys a picture, but in the front of their store is a big Boba Fett statue, and right on it was an ICCC badge from 22. So even out here,
really?
man, ICCC has some long reach.
What'd you
That
get?
is awesome.
We got to see. You were
All right.
teasing it. What'd we get?
I was teasing it, and this is I'm gonna plug them too. It's the Toy Cantina on Bustleton and Feasterville. If you're from the Philadelphia area, I got a Episode 1 Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm absolutely jacked about it. It's in perfect condition, and it's a reasonable price. This thing costs more online, so they gave 15% off for May the 4th. The guys were awesome to talk to. I could have talked to them for an hour if we didn't have the show. So I'm really hyped to get this. I think you might have this one, Joe.
He does. That's
yeah.
the Obi-Wan King right there.
Yep. Hey, we get Miriam. Oh, Miriam. Hey, how are you?
Hello there.
Miriam, thanks for stopping in and saying hey.
Dad's the king of that impression. He does a really good one. But that's
Yeah.
fitting, though, D-Doc,
Hello
to
there.
get the Kenobi on Kenobi Day. We get the trailer for Kenobi. You got some thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, I think the guys were kind of surprised at how quickly I saw it. I mean, it was $65, which is not, cheap. It was, it's in perfect condition. I mean, I've seen it online for $75. I wanted it. I'm on the hunt for an Anakin, but yeah, I'm just high on Kenobi right now. And the second I saw him, I'm just like, yep, I'll get this one. They're like, do you want to look at the other stuff? I'm like, no, I'm good. Yeah.
It's better to stop yourself before you get going too wild.
You have to know your limitations, D-Doc.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that trailer today, I mean, I know, I think, Joe, you were on with us probably when the first trailer dropped, I want to say. And I just remember,
Right, yeah.
I remember we were just saying, it's just like, it's just surreal to see this. And to even have some dialogue in this trailer as well, where you heard him saying, he needs to be trained at some point. I'm like, I watched it like 5 times and still want to watch it more.
That is definitely the line, kind of one of the lines that I was looking the most forward to, right? We've always known that there's some kind of confrontation, that crazy old wizard, right?
Definitely.
What's his name? I'm blanking here. Owen.
Uncle Owen.
Owen. Yeah, Uncle Owen. He was angry, didn't want any part of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And here we are seeing that actually transpire on the screen between these two actors. That one kind of hit hard. I'm thinking we're getting real now when this happens.
Going back to bringing in some of those storylines from the comics of Owen and Obi-Wan Kenobi together.
Yep.
And I really feel like this series is going to give you kind of a different take on Owen Lars, especially when you see him in episode 4. And he does kind of seem like, just really grumpy, angry farmer that he's more concerned with protecting Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Because really, what hope does Luke Skywalker have in the universe once he leaves Tatooine?
How about Uncle Owen just going low blow straight to the where on Obi-Wan?
He murdered him with that one.
Yeah.
Like he trained his father? Dang, man.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Willie Harms on Twitter hit me with that, and I was like, ouch, that is painful right there. I mean, that's the one blow that he can go at him.
It's the truth
Yeah.
to what Owen knows about the Jedi. He only has known personally one Jedi, and it didn't end well.
Pretty on the head, sick burn, just like Anakin.
Yeah.
He
He probably was like, hey, go ahead, D-Doc.
Oh, sorry. I gotta say too, that line to me made me feel so terrible for Obi-Wan, because I had made a video today where I was going and mashing up a bunch of old clips of Kenobi, and I'm just like, you know what? He's a guy who he's technically innocent with the amount of shit that he got. Pardon my French, the amount of stuff he got involved in. I mean, Obi-Wan was just a guy training to be a Jedi, and look at this, like the crap storm he got involved in. I mean, I feel like Anakin was destined to have this happen to him. It's not his fault, and you just feel bad for the guy, you know?
100%. I look at Obi-Wan as being the epitome of what a Jedi is. Maybe I'm wrong because he's flawed. He makes mistakes, from a certain point of view, those kind of things. But man, he always put everybody before himself. I can't think of a time where he was not, whether it's in the prequels, whether it's in Clone Wars, whether it's even in Rebels, and now, and the original trilogy, he was always putting somebody before himself. And that's why I think the Jedi way is.
Well, you look at how the stories come full circle now. When Obi-Wan first meets Anakin, he warns Qui-Gon and says, why can't you just listen to the council, listen to what they have to say about this boy? You'd be a master. And then not only becoming that boy's mentor, but best friends, brothers, to where now he's watching over that young boy that he said, to leave alone son. And what kind of pain would that have to be to watch basically a clone of, I hate to say clone because that has such significance in Star Wars.
Right.
But he's watching the second chosen one from a distance with no interaction. He can't train him. And even if he could, does he want to? Because of what happened with Anakin. Would there be that fear that I'll just make the same mistake again?
Guarantee there was.
What line stuck out to me big time was, and I don't know why, but it was when the Inquisitor, who's the main Inquisitor, the lady,
Grand Inquisitor?
no, not the Grand Inquisitor, the one that really focused on this series, the lady.
I don't
which
know her
sister
number.
she is. Yeah,
Right.
Sister 1, 2, or
But
3.
she
Whatever.
has a line about, I want every bounty hunter, every scrum of it, and so maybe I was like, I don't think they would have put that in there unless we're going to see some of the bounty hunters.
Well, we saw one.
Yeah, that looks like
Forlom. Yeah,
from
For
The Empire
LOM.
Strikes Back.
Oh, well, I was kind of thinking more of like Boba Fett.
He'd be a little young, but it's still possible.
100% possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to tie it all together.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, they're doing this. They throw that line in there. You already mentioned they got Forlom in there. So then I'm like, I'm thinking we're going to see some of the heavy hitter bounty hunters coming.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind if they went through the whole array of The Empire Strikes Back and had them each come in and track down Obi-Wan. But
Right.
then everybody's going to know he's out there.
Right.
Right. And I'm not sure how many people I want this show to show know he's out there.
I think that's going to be the twist of the show is that, the trailer always presents things in a different way. But
Mhm.
I think the twist of the show is going to be no one has any idea that who they're after is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So we saw Vader in this, right? I mean, we
Right.
see his chest plate. We hear the breathing,
The arm.
Yeah.
the arm
That was
being
wild.
connected. Right?
Terminator-ish being put
for
together.
Sure. Yeah.
What are we feeling about that? I mean, Vader's there in full gear.
Let me start with D-Doc on
Yeah,
this one.
D-Doc, go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. That was one that I actually stopped after I watched the trailer first. I went back and just kept replaying that scene. I mean, just to see. And you know what? I guarantee right after that, you're going to see that headshot of Hayden Christensen getting the helmet put on probably. And you know what? I want to ask you guys this. Did you notice how much of his body was exposed when they were putting the chest plate on? Because it looked like the plate was separate from everything else. It looked like you could see his skin around his torso and everything. So I found that interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it kind of looked like that in Rogue One when he was in the back to tank, though. I have to go back and watch.
Yeah, two viewings on the trailer today. I didn't get a chance to get that deep.
I know what you're
into
saying,
it.
though. It was like, because for a second I was like, that is Vader, but is it? There was a little bit of a doubt in my mind, but then with the chest plate and everything.
Well, there was the book, what was the Vader book called? The Rise of Lord Vader or something. And that was the premise of the book throughout. He constantly was working on his suit because of how much he hated it. Making it better.
That would be right in the timeline.
Then make it to where it could switch all the way through the movie series as well, right? So where it looks a little different in each
Right.
movie. Because it does.
Well, if you think about Anakin as a character, he constantly did that. He made R2-D2 better. He made a starfighter. He was constantly working on.
Right.
That's kind of, what he was known for.
That's true. The artwork, I don't know if you guys saw the kind of secondary artwork that came out that had the big overlying picture of Obi-Wan. And I thought it was clever how they put Darth Vader right in the middle of his chest. You know, they have Vader on an edge of a cliff, but it was like right in the middle of Obi-Wan's chest. I was like, to me, I feel like there was some symbolism there of, you know, that it's his heart, man. You know, I mean, as brutal as it is and how much, you know, he's trying to avoid him. It's like, that was Anakin. That was my boy.
Yeah. Enzo and I were talking about it today. What is it going to be like when Obi-Wan finds out that Vader is Anakin Skywalker?
Like yeah.
It's gonna be gut wrenching for Obi-Wan. I mean, he thought he was dead, right? I mean, he left him for dead. And how is he gonna find out? Is it gonna be a HoloNet video? Is it gonna be somebody posting something, you know, somewhere in some kind of news thing, Imperial propaganda, whatever? How's he gonna find that out?
Is it gonna be personal? Will Vader tell him himself?
Oh,
I thought there was kind of an expanded universe scenario that
that's not canon anymore, but
right, but like, I remember he was just
he saw him on the HoloNet.
In
The Rise of Vader book.
right.
At the end, Obi-Wan was at the cantina and there was like the Imperial HoloNet where they introduced Vader as like the head of some sort of head of the Empire.
They're starting to, I mean, we see it with Book of Boba Fett, Mando. They're starting to bring these EU back into canon, at least the inspiration from it. So maybe that'll, you know, maybe it'll be something like that. I think it would be cool if it was personal. If it was like we see Vader doing to Luke.
Like the Godfather.
What
What if he does a Fredo thing to him? He just grabs his cheeks and he does.
But he does it with the Force. He doesn't put his hands on there. He squeezes his cheeks with the Force.
Hey,
kind of
real quick. I saw a message up here, and we're just going to take a quick pause. Emily sent a message, and she'd like for Vinny and Shanna to just hop in and say hi real quick. Vinny and Shanna, come in. Just come in and say hi. Vinny, who one of the original co-hosts of Rule of the Galaxy, he and Shanna are here. They're two of the group that we usually go see Star Wars movies with, and Emily wanted to say hi to you. So say hi to Emily right there.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, daughter.
there you go.
Go ahead. You're on. You're
How do you
live.
guys read this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You don't worry about it.
Well, happy Star Wars Day to those of you that celebrate this day.
Wow.
Are still on
Yeah.
the dark side?
Well, I mean, I celebrate Revenge of the 5th, so I don't really.
Of
I
course
don't
you would.
recognize the Star
Of
Wars
course.
Day you guys are doing today.
The
This is kinda-
contrarian in Vinny
Yeah,
at
this
all
is-
times.
This is awkward for me, but yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, happy Revenge of the 5th, you Sith Lords out there, and the Empire sympathizers.
Nick Shesky's loving that right
Yeah,
now.
that's right. How are you guys? I miss you guys.
Well, I miss you too.
How's it going?
I'm glad you
You
could
guys
hop
are-
in and be a part of the
Yeah,
show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about we asked Mass that about what he's looking forward to most excited. What are you? You're gonna have something different, I'm sure.
Probably riding Rise of the Resistance again. That was probably
Oh,
the best experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it's
the
a good
best.
ride.
Come on.
That's,
There's got to be
oh,
something
man.
It's
better.
not 18 minutes.
You have not.
It's 18 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole
Well,
experience
yeah,
is like
you
18
get-
minutes.
and I haven't got.
Yeah. You got. Wait. You guys. You both have not read.
I've been there and couldn't get on the ride.
It
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
open.
Oh yeah. It broke down
Yeah.
for about 7 hours when we were there. So,
Right.
but somebody turned me onto the site that said you can track ride shutdowns. So then, as soon as I got the notification, I was back on. We took off running and
Look
got
at
right in
you.
line. But yeah, we had to ride it. But it's amazing. It's probably the coolest thing that you're waiting in line. You don't realize you're waiting in line. I mean, you're spoilers, but you're captured and you're waiting in this holding cell and the ride even started yet, but you're like, this is awesome.
We have the group is split because D-Doc, Brent Dykeman, you have all ridden it. Alfie's ridden it.
I've read that.
Yeah.
Nick, myself, you, and Mass have not
We were
ridden
there
it.
for a honeymoon and it wasn't open. It was, we waited for the Millennium Falcon ride, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I check it every day. It's like, oh, what's the wait at today? And then I'll see 3 hours or I'll see it shut down. I'm like, oh, that's not surprising.
When we wrote it, there wasn't a wait. You had to be there when the park
Yeah,
opened
yeah.
to get on it.
Yeah, my wife bought the lightning lane passes and they were useless because they were shut down for about seven hours. And when we got the notification, the lightning lane was 3 hours, and then the normal line was like, you guys are
you're screwed.
out of luck. Like you can't
Okay.
ride the ride. So I'd say riding that again, and then maybe staying on the Galactic Cruiser. That
Really?
two-night
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
looking forward to doing that if that can ever be affordable or available, because I don't think you can even do it right now. I think it's invite only, maybe.
It's
Does anybody know
available.
in the chat if it's invite
Yeah,
only?
it's available. You can go right on the Galactic Star. It was.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of influencers and things like that, but now it's wide open again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the next thing I'm looking forward to doing.
I'm choosing Italy over the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah, that's a big
so.
mistake.
Yeah.
Italy. Well,
Come on.
that's always there.
I'm gonna
Anybody
look.
can go
I'm gonna go look and see if I can find part of Naboo there.
there. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there we go.
I didn't think of it that way.
You got it. Well, thanks,
Get to
Vinny.
swim out
Props
to
on
that
the
little
brother.
island.
Good seeing you guys.
That's right.
Yep. Bye, Emily. Bye, Emily.
There we
Um,
go.
So Vinny and Mass in one show. What do you think about that? Right there, folks.
And Tony's producing it.
Tony's
it's
producing
just
it. I mean, the
time.
whole crew's getting back together. And if Brent and Nick could be here,
We're getting the band back together.
we are getting the band back together. Yeah, we're gonna get the van. We're gonna take off, hit the road. We talked about whether you keep the stuff in and out of the box or with the new packaging. What do you guys think? The announcement today that I was seeing, Tales of the Jedi animated anthology on May 28th at Celebration. Dave Filoni is going to be talking that up. D-Doc, are you guys anything on that? It's going to be all about the Jedi. It's a Jedi anthology. Thoughts?
I'm just that's one thing I'm just going blind into, and I'm fine with it. Almost like Visions. I'm just like, you know what? But sorry, bonus Star Wars. I'm fine with it. And also, I was muted earlier. I didn't realize it, but I need Mass to drop an F-bomb at some point. It needs to be on the broadcast.
So tell me more about what
He left. He stopped in to say hi.
Tales of the Jedi though. So what is it's how far ago?
It's going to be 6 episodes about, as far as I know, different Jedi. It's an animated anthology, so I think each of the stories is going to be separate.
New
and
Jedi?
different.
Jedi we've already met.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Oh boy.
Could be High Republic, Tales, Knights of the Republic. Could be
Don't
anything.
just
I just all I said was oh boy. That's you could take oh boy in many ways. Oh boy. It could be
Okay.
excited.
All
Oh
right.
boy. All right. Well, there. Yeah. Buckle up. So I'll just be still watching Kenobi, and I'll get to that at another time. When is Bad Batch? Do we know?
I don't. Have you
I
seen
haven't
anything?
seen
I know
Bad
they're going to have a
Batch
Bad
season
Batch.
2.
They're going to have a Bad Batch panel at Celebration
Right.
out in LA.
I
So,
would
but
imagine it'd be announced then.
We all got duped not too long ago, right?
what's that? Oh yeah,
Yeah. 'cause
April Fool's Day.
Was it April Fool's?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
it got us.
Well, it got somebody
Yeah.
sitting at this table.
Yeah. No.
Come
no,
on,
no joke. It got me too. That was the one thing. Everything else with sports teams, anything else, I'm like April Fool's, okay. But Star Wars, I'm like, it's here. Yeah.
Well,
so.
okay, but now I'm looking at it. Dave Filoni is going to be doing this panel on this Tales of the Jedi. Is he not going to bring back? I mean, Matt Lanner said a while back he was doing some voice work. Is it going to be a separate story on Anakin, a separate story on Ahsoka, or is it going to be all new? I don't know. You said, oh boy, I don't know what. I mean, if it could be good or not, but it's going to be Filoni involved. I think it's got to be good.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then with like the hashtag and the shirts and everything, and Filoni you trust, and you just leave it up to that. But,
Right.
I think we all have a bug right now for live action rather than animated.
Yeah.
I mean, any more new Star Wars is good Star Wars, but I don't know. After seeing live action Luke, I want a live action Jedi series.
Which,
Okay.
well, yeah, we're still waiting on Skywalker Academy, right?
I think Ashley Eckstein actually mentioned that she, in her panel.
Yeah,
It's a clothing line. So
that's what they trademarked. was
So
the
the clothing line. She had a Skywalker Academy shirt on in Nashville, and she said, "Look, we talked about it. It's kind of like a Harry Potter kind of thing, where it's an academy to where they're selling gear like you go to Skywalker Academy." I believe that's all that was announced, but she brought it up at the panel she was on.
I would imagine as the technology gets better and better each year, we're pretty close to a Skywalker live action series. It may
Okay.
not be quite there yet, but we're getting closer.
the Book of Boba Fett Gallery, Episode 1, that was released today on May the 4th. I mean, they went into real in-depth detail about what they did again because they were like, look, we did it at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian with live action Luke, but we knew
Right.
that we had to step it up, especially for the
And they did.
episode that they were going to do in Book of Boba Fett where Luke carried the episode. It's insane. I mean, it's absolutely nuts what they can do. It's kind of scary.
Well, yeah, I can get any of us.
Yeah.
D-Doc, you had some. I saw your hand come up.
Yeah, who was the guy who played Luke's, I guess, body double? Because I haven't watched yet, but I mean, that one picture of him laughing that circulated around Twitter, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy looks like a clone of Mark Hamill when he was younger. I mean, I would have been fine with them just using that guy.
Agreed.
Well,
I mean,
for
could've.
sure. He does look a lot like him. And I was thinking that while I was watching it, I was like, I mean, guys, at some point, like, it's just the way life goes. Like, we're gonna have to not have Mark Hamill be a part of this. Like, at some point, you know.
Right.
So, at what point are we just gonna come to grips with that? I don't know. But he was heavily involved involved in Book of Boba Fett. So
He was in both Mandalorian season
Right.
2 and Book of Boba Fett. So I agree. I'm okay. Being an original trilogy fan, I'm okay if the old crew has to be shifted out at some point in time. They have to. So
Either way, it's going to take some getting used to. The deep fake took some getting used to,
yeah.
Yep.
and it's only going to get better. But if you were to have just taken that big step and said, hey, look, either you want new stories or the character dies, I would be okay too with just recasting the original cast.
right.
Same. I mean, I just you look at like the other superheroes out there, right? I mean,
Because there's still some good storylines that you could explore between A New Hope and Empire.
Right. And we talked about it in the MCU, how you went through the whole MCU and you had the big characters, right? The
Right.
big names. You go to this second session that they're doing now, and does it feel the same without Tony Stark and Iron Man? Does it feel the same without Chris Evans? Does it feel the same without, I mean,
Outside of Spider-Man, I get completely what you're saying, because the movies, to me, like The Eternals was a good movie, but I couldn't get into the movie. And is it just because we're too far removed from Iron Man? Whereas then we went and saw Spider-Man, and
Right.
we're right back into the main characters.
Brent Dykman always bring on the new. I agree. Bring on the new. That's fine.
And
Now
one
tell us what
thing
the new's going to be. Go ahead, D-Doc.
One thing I'll agree with Brent on bringing the new. I mean, I definitely get that vibe you're talking about with Marvel, with the changes happening with it. Moon Knight, I mean, that finale, I'm going to be watching that finale once we're done here, but that show is fresh. It's new to Marvel. I don't even see that it's been related to whatever storyline is going on. I don't even know if the last episode will, but that is something that's great and fresh, where it's like, to me, it's proof that Star Wars can do that with new Jedi shows, as Alfie was saying, in live action, and people will be fine with it. I mean, you can move on from the Skywalker saga, because to me, Moon Knight exists on its own as an amazing show. It just happens to be Marvel. I don't know how it relates to the bigger picture story.
Well, guys, it's a huge universe. I mean, yes, we're stuck on the Skywalkers, and yes, we can't have Rey do some things after the sequel trilogy, but it's a huge universe. I mean, there's got to be great storylines going on everywhere. I remember back when Alfie and I were young, thinking about writing books and stories of characters that weren't even part of the main, scenario. Anyway, so they could do that and make it fresh and new, D-Doc. I agree wholeheartedly. It's just make it a good story, I guess.
well, yeah. I mean, don't look no further than Mandalorian.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, they tie in, some of the original and everything like that. But Mando, Grogu, Cara Dune, Moff Gideon, Grief Karga. I mean, those are all new characters. So I mean, there's plenty of possibilities out there. You just got to leave it to the people like Favreau and Filoni who have a sense and have a feel.
Or like Rogue One, that was a great story, and you dropped right smack dab into the
It's
original
Vinny's favorite
trilogy.
Star Wars movie. Yeah.
Sure, it washed
And it
up
should be. It's
against
very
some
good.
characters, but for the most part, it was all new characters and all new story, and it fit.
Agreed. Couple different topics that I had left here. D-Doc, did you have anything? I wasn't sure if I missed you on anything. Okay, we're good. Sorry, just I'm looking to the right to see you and looking over here to see these guys, so I got to bounce back and forth. I saw something come out about the movie rankings, and they did it like scientifically. If you want to talk about that, we can. I don't want to step on any toes and take people off.
What's the scientific method here?
They use stats from IMDb, Rotten Tomato, Metacritic, the revenue from the movie, and the profitability of the movie to rank them number 9 through number 1.
So Last Jedi will be number 1 because they're going by Rotten Tomatoes and credits and everybody who's a critic.
I got to hear this.
It's a good guess. I'm going to run them 9 through 1. I'm going to let you guys see what you think.
All right.
Number 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Number 8, Attack of the Clones. Number 7, The Phantom Menace. Number 6, Revenge of the Sith. Number 5, Return of the Jedi. Number 4, The Last Jedi. Number 3, The Force Awakens. Number 2, Empire Strikes Back. Number 1, A New Hope.
There's just no way on God's green earth that Last Jedi is better than Return of the Jedi.
No way.
No chance. No chance. Lost me there.
What about Revenge of the Sith?
That's way too low.
Very low. But I mean, they're not even comparable. Like, there's no argument to be made that Return of the Jedi isn't as good or better than The Last Jedi. It's ridiculous.
Okay. D-Doc, your thoughts?
Shout out to Big Mike right there. That's my cousin Mike. Yeah, where did you say Phantom Menace was at on there?
Number 7.
Was that number 7? I mean, I think that's kind of low for that. I mean, I don't know. When it comes down to fandom, I would pretty much have the sequel trilogy on the back end, even though, I enjoy it if they're on. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they
That's
didn't even have Rogue
interesting.
One or Solo on here. It was just the 9.
Can we just real quick? Let's on Rise of Skywalker. They had it at 9, okay, and we know that it's has its faults. Like, what is the big gripe with Rise of Skywalker? Why is it to where everybody's just like trash? Movie sucks. Number 9.
Do you think
trash.
it's because the Emperor's back?
I don't know. I personally liked Rise of Skywalker more than I liked The Last Jedi. So
Is it just because they feel like it was like rushed and it was like, hey, we're just we don't know what to do. Here's
it
the
felt kinda
Emperor,
like
but
it should have been a couple hours longer, maybe 2 movies to kind of explain everything that was going on in the movie.
I think it's getting the whiplash effect, guys.
Yeah.
Because the Force Awakens takes us, wow, look what this could be.
Right.
The Last Jedi turns you that direction, goes a whole different way, and then Rise of Skywalker comes back, doesn't get to the Force Awakens, but it goes the exact opposite way from the Last
Last
Jedi.
Jedi,
It gets the
yeah.
And I
bad,
think people are just like,
yeah,
too much, too fast.
It gets bad mouth because The Last Jedi, we beat this horse to death. You either like it, you either love it or you hate it.
literally.
So The Rise of Skywalker had no hope of appeasing both sides of that.
It was going to
It
burn.
tried to
right.
make up and bring everybody back, which just makes people even that more angry that they didn't follow The Last Jedi or that they copped out and tried to make up for what people didn't like about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, Rise of Skywalker is just the product of bad planning as an entire franchise,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It-
I mean,
I liked it watching it in the theater, but the
Same.
pacing of that movie is so fast. It's just like turn your mind off and let's go.
Breakneck speed. Yeah. It was
one
like
of
the quick
Riley's
hyper
favorites. Right.
jump.
She likes that
Yeah,
one.
right. D-Doc, thoughts?
Yeah, I relate it to what happened with Game of Thrones. I mean, everyone will forever trash the last season of Game of Thrones just because if you look at the Skywalker saga, you have, the prequels, the original trilogy, all this stuff leading up to a close. And that was the close of it. And people are going to have issues with it because there's so much material for you to grab off of and think this is how I want it to end. I mean, when something ends, people have a problem with it, no matter what. It doesn't even
100%.
matter if it's a book that you know the end to. People will still have a problem with the way the movie might have translated it. And yeah, I mean, did it feel like the end of the Skywalker saga? I don't know. It didn't feel like it closed the book on it, in my opinion. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
for sure. It definitely, to me, I mean, when Rey is putting those lightsabers in the sand, it's like, well, that's just tailor-made for a promo here in about 15 years of the sand elevating up and the lightsabers coming back, which will y'all be sitting there like this, like I'm a kid in front of the TV. So, I can't really complain about it too much, but it does feel like a tragedy almost. The how high we all were on Star Wars when Episode 7 came out, the newness, the excitement, the wow, it's back, everything, to then where it ended up 5 years later, whatever.
So down at ICC Con, we're sitting there with a bunch of podcasters, right? So they're giving us their opinions back and forth. And one of them mentioned okay, Force Awakens. They're saying it's a carbon copy of A New Hope. All right. And then I said, well, if you've got a good recipe, why mess it up? I mean, movies basically follow along some similar patterns, right? So it's like baking a cake. If the recipe's good and the cake comes out okay, you're probably going to make that same recipe and do the cake again, right? So I was okay with it because The Force Awakens left you with a bit of hope. It had a good storyline. Yes, Han died, but other than that,
He did.
oh man, sorry, 2015 people, I'm sorry. So that's where I looked at it.
I get the carbon copy. I get that. It followed a lot of the same beats, and I was fine with that because the movie left enough little breadcrumbs, cookie crumbs, you will. Who was Finn? Did we ever learn the last name? No. Why did Kylo Ren say that girl when the officer said,
what girl?
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was really going to go somewhere.
Me too.
The Force Church. Why was it on Jakku, the next village over from the next chosen one? I thought there would be, there were things there for somebody to build on a story on why these things happened.
Okay, so I know not everybody here is book readers. I know Brent Dykman sitting out there right now is not a big book reader, but the new book with Luke and Lando is coming out, and it's going to take place like 10 or 15 years after Jedi, so 10 or 15 years before Force Awakens. And it's supposed to delve into some of these things where they're planting the seeds and getting ready for the Force Awakens. So maybe there's some things in that. I'll cross my fingers that there are. But we've talked about it all along. Put us in either a live action or an animated series on Disney Plus that puts those breadcrumbs from Return of Jedi to the Force Awakens. I'm all for it. Clear up some of the haziness in the middle, and I'll buy into that second trilogy or third trilogy.
And one thing that I really dislike about the new trilogy, if you're going to talk about, and I say this all the time, I know I'm bringing it up, you made this trilogy for a new generation of Star Wars fans, and the thing that I dislike is you have completely abandoned them after this movie.
Yep.
You told me Rey was the future of Star Wars, and we bought into it 100%, and you did not support that character after this movie. There's no reason why there is not a child's yellow lightsaber.
Agreed.
Not everything has to be Black Series. Not everything has to cost $300. You presented this character to my children. They love them. Continue to support them.
I like it. D-Doc, did you have anything?
No, I mean, just when one thing I'll say about the sequel trilogy, though, is Disney did do a good job with it in Galaxy's Edge, in my opinion. Like, I wanted to watch the sequel trilogy when I left Galaxy's Edge and rode the Rise of Resistance and saw all the First Order stormtroopers and stuff like that. Like, I was kind of excited about it. I do think they have an opportunity to expand on that universe, show us how it started, and maybe add some little nuggets to make those movies a little better. I think it's possible.
That's interesting. Yeah, never thought about that. That's true.
I'm going to try to squeeze one more topic in before we shut down for the evening. Okay. We were lucky enough to meet Anna Graves, the voice of Duchess Satine. She was great. She was great in the panel with the other Clone Wars actors. When I was looking back at this, and a lot of people consider certain characters to be very, very important and other characters just side characters. But if you look at Duchess Satine in the Clone Wars, and here's an original trilogy guy, right? That's what I am. But looking at this, once you brought the Duchess Satine character and the Mandalore storyline in, look what this is built into, how Clone Wars finished up on Mandalore, Ahsoka, Darth Maul, right? All those things taking off, okay? So Clone Wars had it. Rebels,
right?
Full of Mandalore, full of Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, okay? We're seeing all those characters.
Crosses into Mandalorian.
Crosses into Boba Fett in the original trilogy. Mandalorian series. Book of Boba Fett series. That one character and that one storyline has now fed from 2010 or so, 2009 to now. And most people, if you said, go talk to somebody and they say, I'm a Star Wars fan. You go, who's Duchess Satine? They'd go, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But
Sure.
look how important. I mean, the Darksaber came
Mhm.
from that storyline. Moff Gideon now had that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing how that little storyline right there grew into all that
Well,
over
not
that
even
time
just
frame.
the Darksaber, but the whole history behind the Darksaber and what it means for somebody to have it.
Correct. The ruler of Mandalore by having the Darksaber. I mean, I just, if you look at some of the most popular characters right now in the Star Wars universe, as they're building that Star Wars MCU heading towards whatever, they're Mandalorians, and they're based off of that character and that storyline. It was just a cartoon that George said, let's expand on that a little
Right.
bit.
And the best part of it is, you know, because I'm a Boba Fett guy, I'm sure we all know that. Character that had 3 minutes of screen time, 4 lines, and has now spanned into this story
Yep.
to where they introduced Duchess, Bo-Katan.
Gotta show your tattoo.
No, I agree. They want to see your tattoo, your new one.
Yeah,
Can we
that
get
good?
that?
Yep, you got it. It's in there. It's in there.
And now we've created this whole history of Mandalore and
Correct.
the Mandalorians, and Boba Fett's no longer a Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, didn't he have
Kirby
he had
Enthusiasm
he had
music.
the chain code or whatever for Mandalore?
True, but I'm just saying, story-wise, he's no
You're
longer
right,
an actual
right.
Mandalorian and is no longer a part of this Mandalorian story that was created to give
Based
him a
off him.
backstory.
Right. Hey,
I'm looking
Stranger
forward to
Things.
it all, though.
stranger things have happened in Star Wars. Okay, we're gonna tie it up. Any closing thoughts from you, Alfie? From you, Joey?
Why don't we
Anything?
just send it around? Yeah. Why don't we start with D-Dog?
D-Doc.
All right, yeah, I'll just close it out saying Happy May the 4th to everybody. And I mean, I'm always honored to do a weekly show with you guys. I love doing it. I love talking Star Wars. As Michael Havens from ICCC said, how do you make new friends when you get older? You make them talking about Star Wars, which is totally true. So I'm thankful to be on here. I'm thankful for the people who follow us. I hope you guys have a great May the 4th.
You got it. And I can't wait to hear about Doc number 3 on the way. So we're ready to hear that announcement.
Heck yeah, man.
Hey, just like he said, happy May the 4th. And I'm looking so forward to next year being able to say the same thing with this group of guys. Love talking Star Wars with you guys.
You got it.
Yeah, for sure. Star Wars is family, always has been, always will be. So it's great to be here tonight. Thanks to Comic Book University for hosting us. Tony, Yellow Line Productions, doing a fantastic job. And I'll do a little shameless plug. So Tony and I are going to be working together, not with Rule of Galaxy, but the week leading up to the race, the Indy 500. We're going to be doing pretty much this out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So very much looking forward to that. Dad, thanks for having me and for doing all
problem.
this. And yeah, I'm going to go watch the Kenobi trailer about 300 more times tonight. So
Well, again, to follow up, thanks to Rob, thanks to Dare for having us at Comic Book University. Remember, any comic book store around the country, go look out Free Comic Book Day on May the 7th. It's freecomicbookday.com. They're going to have sales at each one of these comic book stores. Tony's got the plug up there. I love it. D-Doc, thank you for joining us from Philly. For all of our listeners and followers, thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for giving this a listen. It'll be out as a podcast and on YouTube, I'm sure, soon enough after this. So if you didn't get a chance, you'll be able to check it out there. Thanks again. Couple things. Thanks again to all the Rule of the Galaxy wives and significant others for always putting up with all of our craziness. Thanks to all the co-hosts, Joey, Alfie, Brent, D-Doc, Mass, Tony, Vinny. You guys are all great. Did I say Nick? No, Nick Shesky. You know what? It's just a pleasure to be here and talking Star Wars. It's all about family. We're loving it. And that's how we're going to close it out. So until next week, may the Force be with you.